Hello, I'm Stefan Schmidt, a recent Berklee College of Music graduate and the composer on the feature film Passage to Mars, co-produced between Jules Verne Adventures and NASA. While working on the Passage to Mars soundtrack, I had the pleasure of working with Eunhae Jung and her Korean drum group, which was extremely fun, professional, and stimulating. At first, I was honestly a little worried about how the final sound will turn out because these Korean drums are not very common in film music unless it's a traditional Korean film. Usually you have big Japanese taiko drums or more conventional Western percussion. It's quite rare to use exotic percussion, and I've known Korea for a long time, both its culture and for some personal reasons, so I really wanted to give these Korean drums a moment in the spotlight. In the score, I incorporated two kinds of Korean percussion. I used the jangu and the buk. The jangu is more of a mid-range percussive instrument, and the buk is like a hard-hitting bass drum per se. And I think the most impressive thing I found in the end was how unique these instruments blended with the orchestra, and that I really found an individual sound, which is so important for not just any musician and composer, but more specifically every film composer, because a lot of film composers tend to sound similar to one another. I wrote for many scenes in the film using Korean percussion. There was one scene in particular I really enjoyed writing for called Sinking. In this scene, the expedition team in the Arctic was facing an immediate threat. The ice under them was starting to crack, and they were at high risk of losing not just everything they had, but themselves as well. So the scene really called for a high suspense action type of music. So I didn't want to use just average action music, so dun 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 dun. That is overused. So I asked Eunhae, is there some high-pace Korean traditional rhythms I could use? And she said, of course. So she gave me some Korean traditional rhythms, all notated on sheet music, and I incorporated that into the scene, and it really blew my mind, to be honest, and it really brought out the scene perfectly. On top of that, I also recorded a very talented singer from India and Berklee alum, Shilpa Ananth. I wrote for her to sing solo above the orchestra and Korean drums, adding her own Middle Eastern tones, which brought out a whole new level of individuality and quality to the score. This exotic combination of instruments and various styles also helped bring out the most in the scene. I took a chance on using this orchestration, but it was well worth it. It made me realize that any combination of musicians from around the world, as well as having faith in having an open-minded collaboration, could really help create something truly unique. I'm very excited to work with Eunhae and her group, as well as Shilpa, in the near future. Now, enjoy watching the session recording video from the original motion picture soundtrack, Passage to Mars.